What is going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be predicting every ACC team by how good I think they will be the next 5 years. Now, the ACC is very unpredictable moving forward. The ACC could look a lot different in 5 years, so this video could very well be pointless, and the ACC could lose teams before the season even starts. But regardless, I wanted to do this video because I'm doing this video for every Power 4 conference. And let's start off at number 1, and at number 1 I have Florida State. If I look at the 17 teams in the ACC right now, I'd say Florida State should be the best team out of the 17 moving forward. The ACC could change a lot in 5 years, but let's kind of ignore that. Mike Novell is one of the best coaches in college football right now. He uses the transfer portal just as good as any other coach in college football. They also recruit at a top 3 level in the ACC. Mike Novell led Florida State to back-to-back double-digit win seasons. They won the ACC championship last season, and this Florida State team is on the rise. Now, they could take a step back in 2024, but regardless, I am very high on this Florida State team, and they should be one of the top teams in the ACC moving forward. And they should be one of the top teams in the country. And I wouldn't be surprised if Florida State was in the national title picture the next 5 years. At number 2, I have Miami. And I know it's brave of me to put Mario Cristobal in Miami this high, but I don't see other teams in the ACC recruiting nearly as good as Miami does. Miami has been dominant in the recruiting trail the past couple of years. They also went crazy in the portal this offseason. They added a top 10 college football running back Damian Martinez, and they also added a top 10 college football quarterback Cam Ward. Miami will be the more talented team than Florida State, but I trust Mike Novell a lot more than I trust Mario Cristobal, and that's why I have Miami under Florida State at number 2. But regardless, I do have Miami at number 2 because they are on the rise. There's a big talent gap between the top 3 teams in the ACC compared to the other 14 teams, at least if we're talking about how they recruit. But I do think Miami is going to become one of the top college football programs again in college football with NIL coming along. The results have to start showing on the field, but I am high on this Miami team moving forward. There's just too much talent on this team to not succeed. At number 3, I have Clemson. And I can't really rank Clemson any lower than 3. They have been pretty impressive in the recruiting trail. It's really just Florida State, Miami, and Clemson for the teams recruiting at a high level in the ACC. And despite the transfer portal issues, I expect Clemson to be an 8 or 9 win team just about every season. They should be consistently good. I don't see them getting back to winning national titles, and I don't even know if they'll win the ACC either. And I actually think Clemson is a bit overrated heading into next season. I have them losing 4 games in 2024. But I have to be realistic, and I can't trust myself to rank another team over Clemson if we're looking at the next 5 years, because I don't think any of the other teams below them could be as consistent as Clemson. The ACC is wide open. But like I said, I think the top 3 teams I listed I can trust the most every year. And those 3 teams are Florida State, Miami, and Clemson. At number 4, I have NC State. And if there was a team that could overtake Clemson at number 3, it could be NC State. There is a case to swap NC State and Clemson. NC State has proven that they can be consistently good in the ACC. They've actually had 4 consecutive 8 or 9 win seasons. And I think they are a huge sleeper to win the ACC in 2024. They haven't won double-digit games with Dave Doeren. They always have a consistently good defense but don't have great quarterback play. But the offense has a lot of potential in 2024 with Grayson McCall at quarterback. Grayson McCall was one of the best quarterbacks in the group of 5, possibly the best quarterback in the group of 5. Grayson McCall could be a huge difference maker for NC State. I think NC State will remain consistently good. I just don't know if they could be much better than an 8 or 9 win team. But I'm telling you, if there is any year for NC State to break out, it would be 2024. So watch out for this NC State team moving forward. At number 5, I have SMU. SMU is a team to watch out for. They have very good NIL resources. They have the 4th best 2025 recruiting class in the ACC as well. They are a team that could potentially surprise a lot of people. They could become a top brand in the ACC sooner rather than later. They are definitely trending up, but I don't think they are quite there yet. But 5 years is a long time, and that's exactly why I have them at number 5. At number 6, I have Georgia Tech. I think Brent Key has this team heading in the right direction. They could struggle next season because of the brutal schedule, but even with the brutal schedule, I see them making a bowl game or better. They are trending up in the recruiting trail. Brent Key also uses the transfer portal pretty well at picking up team needs. I think the defense has room to grow, and I expect Georgia Tech to keep improving moving forward. I like this offense next season with Haynes King at quarterback. And Georgia Tech can make a lot of noise next season because they play 3 really good teams. They play Florida State, Notre Dame, and Georgia. And I expect Georgia Tech to upset one of those 3 teams. And I expect Georgia Tech to be pretty good over the next 5 years. At number 7, I have Louisville. Louisville recruits at the bottom of the ACC, and that's why I don't have them higher, but I still have to have them in the conversation because they make up for the lack of recruiting with the talent that they bring in from the transfer portal. And Louisville just made the ACC championship game last season. They're a pretty well coached team, and Jeff Brom is a solid head coach. I wouldn't be surprised if Louisville was a top 5 team, and despite the recruiting struggles, I expect Louisville to be a solid team the next 5 years. I just don't know if they're going to be a top team in the ACC, but I think having them at 7 is a fair spot in my opinion. At number 8, I have Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is a team on the rise. Kyron Jones will be one of the most electric quarterbacks in the ACC next season, and Virginia Tech is kind of in the same conversation as Louisville. They should be consistently good. They have the potential to shock everyone and compete for an ACC title next season, but I don't know if Virginia Tech can get back to being great and being a consistent ACC title contender. I think Virginia Tech could have an incredible season in 2024, but I just don't know if they could be a top team in the ACC consistently for the next 5 years. They don't recruit very well and they don't really use the transfer portal that well either. But I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Virginia Tech ended up in the ACC championship game in 2024. At number 9, I have Syracuse. Fran Brown has a lot to prove, but he came from the Georgia coaching staff. He will be a year 1 head coach for Syracuse this upcoming season, and he is already doing a solid job at building up the roster through the portal. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done in recruiting, but I think Syracuse should be a solid team and possibly improve a little bit more, and they will probably be in that middle tier for the ACC. At number 10, I have Stanford. Stanford could realistically be the worst team in the ACC next season, and maybe I have them a little bit too high. They've went 3-9 the last couple of seasons, but they are actually trending up in recruiting. They have 4-star quarterback Elijah Brown ready to go in 2025. Stanford should improve over the next 5 years. I don't expect them to be great, but they should make some solid bowl games. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done and they aren't quite there yet, so we'll see what Troy Taylor can do at Stanford. At number 11, I have North Carolina. They actually recruit very well. They are one of the better recruiting teams in the ACC, but Mac Brown is going to retire soon in my opinion, and I really don't expect North Carolina to be much better than a bowl team moving forward. They lost Drake May and a lot of production from last season. Maybe they'll be good next season and surprise some people. Amarion Hampton is one of the best running backs in the country and he will be back, but I really expect North Carolina to take steps down. Maybe I'm disrespecting this team, but I'm just not high on this North Carolina team anymore. At number 12, I have Duke. Duke could potentially end up higher on this list. I almost considered ranking them higher, but Duke hasn't been a great team historically in football. And there's actually a lot of solid teams in the ACC. The ACC is wide open, but Duke lost Mike Elko and quarterback Riley Leonard. I think Manny Diaz was a solid hire from Penn State. He was the former Penn State defensive coordinator, so he wasn't a prestigious coordinator job. Duke could be solid, but I still have my questions with this team, and I think Manny Diaz has a lot of work to do at Duke if Duke wants to be higher on this list. At number 13, I have California. I think California could actually be a surprise team in 2024. They return a lot of production, and they have a top 4 ACC transfer portal class. They have been using the transfer portal very well. Despite the criticism Justin Wilcox gets as the head coach, he has actually used the transfer portal pretty well. California returns Jaden Ott at running back, one of the better running backs in the ACC. California is probably being slept on heading into next season. I see a lot of people predicting them to go 5-7, and I don't see that happening. I expect California to win 6 games at the bare minimum in 2024. But if I'm being realistic, I don't expect California to be great in the long run. Right now, they have the worst recruiting class for 2025 in the ACC. Justin Wilcox might not be there another 5 years either. I could see him stepping down or getting fired. But I think California will be good this season, but after this season, I expect them to take steps back. At number 14, I have Pitt. Pitt took a big step down going 3-9 in 2023. That's going to be hard to come back from because they were having good seasons before then, but they aren't using the portal or recruiting very well right now. We'll see if the new offensive coordinator can make a difference on that side of the ball, but the offense has a lot of concerns, and I just don't think Pitt will be that great moving forward, and I expect Pitt to be one of the bottom teams in the ACC moving forward. At number 15, I have Boston College. They could be a solid team in 2024, but they are definitely a historically bad program, and once they lose Thomas Castellanos, they should really struggle. They have a brutal schedule in 2024, and I expect them to take a step down. Maybe they make a bowl game, but even that's being a little bit optimistic. Boston College should be one of the bottom teams in the ACC for the next 5 years. I'm not very high on Bill O'Brien as a head coach, and I really don't expect him to do much for Boston College as the head coach. so this Boston College team shouldn't be that great moving forward. At number 16, I have Virginia. Virginia shouldn't be that great moving forward. They don't recruit well. They won 3 games in 2022 and 2023. They could be a bit better in 2024, but I don't expect much of a change for Virginia. Any one of these teams I'm ranking at the bottom could surprise a lot of people and maybe end up in the top 10, but if I'm being realistic, I don't see Virginia being much better. And for the last team on this list, I have Wake Forest at 17. I expect Wake Forest to be a pretty bad team moving forward. They have one of the worst transfer portal classes for 2024, and they haven't recruited well recently. The ACC is wide open and Wake Forest has an easy schedule in 2024. Maybe they turn it around. I don't think I'd be surprised if they made a bowl game in 2024, but I just don't expect them to be good the next 5 years, and that's why I have them all the way at number 17. Obviously, a lot is going to change for the ACC in the next 5 years, but you guys let me know what you disagree with down in the comments below. How would your guys' ACC rankings look different from mine? But anyways, that's going to do it for today's video. Let me remind you guys to like the video and also subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. And if you guys love college football, then you'll love this channel because we upload a ton of college football content and we basically cover everything on this channel. So definitely consider subscribing. And also consider checking out my socials down in the description below. But that is going to do it, guys, and peace out.